So in this video, I'm going to be going through problem number 4 on capture the ether. This is also quite a simple problem. There's nothing particularly new to see here. The only goal is to basically deploy the contract and then guess the correct answer. The answer has been specified as a state variable here. So all we have to do is call this function with the value 42, and then we'll complete the challenge. The one thing, the couple of things that I'll point out are which are new, are that this function guess is marked as payable, and this means that we can send ether to this function. So that's one new thing. And the second thing that I'll point out is that there's a precondition here which requires that you send one ether to the contract. So in case this precondition is not met, the function will fail and it'll basically revert. So what that means is that the future code lines of code will not be executed. Also, another thing to note is that when a function reverts, all the gas that's been provided, it's just going to use up gas until this point, and the remaining gas was just going to be reimbursed to the sender. And this special value here, message.value, is this contains the amount of ether that's sent to the contract. So earlier we saw message.data, message.sender. So these are the two special sort of variables that we have seen so far. There's another one that we'll see later on. And finally, I'm just going to point out that this is a slightly older version of Solidity. So it's currently we're using 0.8, and the only part that's affected is the constructor. The syntax of declaring the constructor has changed a bit, but for now I'm just going to be sticking to this. Okay, so I'm just going to start this challenge again. So while deploying the contract, I'm going to be sending it one ether, as we can see here. So the constructor is also marked as payable. So this is now deploying this contract on the Ropstein network. We can see the deployed contract here. It contains one ether that we sent during the initial deployment. And now what we're going to do is, all we have to do is simply call this function guess, and we'll use Remix for that. So I've created this file. Just going to copy this contract, compile it, make sure that the environment is injected Web3 because we have to connect to our MetaMask account. And then another thing that we have to do is, first let me copy the contract address. So instead of deploying a new instance of the contract, we're just going to be interacting with this deployed contract. And this is how I do it. Okay, so currently it's marked as false. And all we have to do is type in the number 42. And if I click guess here, it's going to give me an error. It says execution reverted. The error message is not very clear, but basically it's because we haven't provided any ether to the contract, to the function. So currently the value is 0. So I'm just going to select ether and provide it one ether. So now if we go ahead and click this, it says that we're sending one ether. This is the gas fees. Okay, let's confirm. Give it a few seconds. it's taking a bit longer than expected. Let me try to increase the, okay, just, it looks like it just worked. Okay, so now all we have to do is check solution, click this button, check solution, and this will simply call is complete. And since we've correctly guessed the answer, and I think now we should have our ether back, right? So what happened is that we call this function, this precondition was set, and since we correctly guessed the answer, the message.sender, which is me, was transferred to ether. So it all looks good. And now I simply click check solution. Yeah. I'm just going to speed this up. Okay, perfect. Now it's done.